Hi, this is Sharon Caitlin Ortega, and I wanted to quickly share the webpage I had made for this course. This is the same webpage that I started several weeks ago when we were first asked to create one. And I went ahead and embedded my final project on this page. Every year, I ask that my 12th grade students work with either a Victorian, Romantic, or modern era British poem in 12th grade, and it's just kind of get those poetry standards out of the way. So the very first thing the students do is they kind of randomly select a line of poetry and speed date them, if you will, and they write a couple of 1-minute essays. I have my full lesson plan for each of the sessions in this unit linked, and at the bottom of each lesson plan, I have my focal standards, which are all language arts Florida standards. And I tried to list the specific assessment each step of the way. The majority of the assessments are formative assessments where the students are writing 1-minute essays, and I would provide feedback to them the following class session, or where they are building toward a final project. And I want to go ahead and show that. So each of the handouts or anything I would provide for the students, I'll also link that, even though that's not exactly what the whole class looked like for the kids. And the reason I did that is I always think it's really important for students who aren't at school to have full access. And when I'm using this in class, I'll go ahead and link, John has number 1 and Jane has number 2 to simplify it for myself and keep track of which poems are quote unquote taken. So once students have gotten to know their poem, we move on to the second day usually, and we do a find someone and ask, which is a worksheet. And here it is. It lives in Google Docs. This is super familiar for my kids. We're a Google school. This is something we use probably every day. They can turn in a hard copy or an emailed copy. I'm open to both and always have been. But I went ahead and pushed it out and had a Leno page added where the students, instead of doing a traditional ticket out the door, could post a sticky note with their aha moment. And again, on this page, I posted the full lesson plan so that anybody who needed to see which standards the students were focused on for the day, additional materials that I have linked, modifications, how I remediate. And I found over the years, I don't end up doing a whole lot of remediation for this because the students, one, can review the materials publicly. Previously, I had it on Google Classroom, but there's no time when the materials feel secret from the students. And I'm super connected to them by email 8 hours a day, as well as, having an open door policy, like pretty much any teacher. So getting ready for our final project, one of the big things I have them do is image annotation, which is where they create a Google drawing. And this looks like a link. It's not. But the students actually make their own Google drawing, and it's similar to one I make with them in class. These are some real examples the students used. So we used some color coding and some highlighting and just going through the different tools for this platform. So it's one of my tech tools that the students are becoming familiar with in this particular unit. For more information, the lesson plan, of course, is attached right here, as always. The fourth thing I have the students do, and it's my go-to poetry strategy, is use TPCast. So I embedded a YouTube video that I use as kind of a refresher, since it's something that's done frequently in class with me. Every time we do a poem, this is what we do. It's kind of, just a routine. There's a handout that correlates to TPCast, and of course the lesson plan, and of course they can always email me their work, or they can give a hard copy during class, whichever one is their preference. For this, I'm having students begin working on their summative assessments. They've worked with their poem, they've talked about what's going on in their poem, had peer feedback, had teacher feedback, and now I'm asking them to illuminate their poem. So I made myself 2 YouTube videos and embedded them on my page. One about what
Messenger audio
the product itself is, and one about how to do their project, where I use tips and tricks using the same poem that we had previously worked on in class. The platform they're going to use to create their videos is Adobe Spark. So that is another tech tool I brought in. They just signed right in with their Google, like always, and it seemed very easy. It's the first year I've used that. It's Google Slides with a video making capability. And again, the lesson plan is linked. The final thing I have students do is I have students go back to their poem, put all the pieces together, and write a reader's response essay. So again, I've made my own explainer video that I've embedded on here as a tool for the students to make sure they can review that as many times as needed. The prompts are included in the video. And then as a last piece of technology, it's really familiar to the students. We've been using it about 4 or 5 years at our school, Turnitin.com as one of our softwares, and I just linked out to the homepage so the students could log in from there. And again, my lesson plan is attached. I found that bringing all this technology, especially bringing in 1 or 2 new things maximum per day, was really easy for the kids. They seemed like they caught on immediately because they're digital natives, and it did me good to remember that this is quickly becoming their world and I just live here.